Life is precious, and we all have the opportunity of living it to the fullest. Unfortunately, so few of us know how to manage it all. How do we account for our opportunities? How do we account for our time? How do we account for our relationships, health, spirituality, homes, finances, influence, and careers? How do we account for the one life we have to live? I am so glad you asked. In this program, you will find answers to all of these questions and more. Welcome to the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore.
Wow. Welcome back to another episode today. Man, we're going to talk about something that I think is going to help many of us to implement some major success blueprints. Are you ready? So we're talking about God's blueprint for business success. And it all starts with building integrity. You know, this month, as we're jumped into Proverbs, just some awesome things happening right now. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Wisdom Challenge. I haven't had a chance to really promote it, but I do want to promote it. I have an affiliate link, but I'm not actually giving out the affiliate link today because I'm just going to promote it. And I believe you can get to the Wisdom Challenge, wisdomchallenge.com, to get even more wisdom. There's some phenomenal people that have been on there so far. A couple of people that you may know of. Eric Thomas was on there. He was on day 3. You had Lisa Nichols, who was just on there yesterday, on day 4. And so you definitely want to check out what's happening. And even if you've missed these, the first few days of the challenge, don't worry. Like, they got the replays. Like, you can watch the replays this month. I believe the replays will be up at least the whole month. So get in there, check it out. Just because, look, at the end of the day, we need wisdom. Wisdom is what's going to get us to where we want to go. Wisdom laid the foundation of the world. And so let's get wisdom. Today, God's blueprint for success. In chapter 6, I did a video on one of the topics in chapter 6 that I'm not going to go into today. And I've done it twice. It's on the ants. And if you haven't read chapter 6 of Proverbs, go read the whole chapter. And there's a section in it, maybe like verses, I can tell you exactly where it is. Verses 6 to 11 that goes through what ants do and how ants are wise and how many of us are just not as wise as ants, which they're the smallest creature on the planet, yet they are so wise. And so we're not talking about the ants today. Today, we're going to talk about things that's going to build our integrity, but really from a perspective of things that we should not do. Now, before we get into that, I do want to share a story that helps to bring some context into this business. Building integrity. Back when I started my business in 2002, I'm an accountant. I've recently passed the CPA exam. One of the things that you have to do before you get your CPA license is you have to take an ethics course and, ethics, because when you're talking about managing money, you're going to have morality. Because if you don't have morality, you will be willing to do anything. And I'm going to tell you, I took this ethics class, and every time you renew your license, you got to take ethics, totally overlooking ethics. Man, sometimes you wish you can go back and change, but you know what? No, because I needed to make all those mistakes. That's helping me to see the blueprint even simpler. So back then, I get into the business, rolling in the business. It's growing slow. Then I get into the mortgage and real estate business, and that's when my integrity was tested. Anybody ever had their integrity tested? Anybody ever had their morals tested? Oh man, from every level, ethics and morals were tested in that business. Now, here's the thing. I was being tested in other things, say in college, and some of the things that you do, you don't even know, you're not even aware of some of the mistakes that you're making when you're young. They tell young men, at least back when I was coming up, sow your oats. Dumb. I'm not telling my sons to do that. Hey, if you're going to have a girlfriend, just have one. Have a girlfriend and then don't even have sex. Don't do it. It's no point. Because you're setting yourself up for something that you may not be able to handle. You're giving which women are more likely to fall in love over sex than men are. Men typically won't fall in love over sex. Women do. And or their feelings just kind of come up faster. So I'm like, don't have sex because it's just going to bring up feelings that's going to cause you to start, like, it's going to be a conflict, and maybe you're not that into the girl, or maybe not, you don't want to be that serious, but you're doing it. You're doing a marital act. So that's one of the things I tell my sons: don't do it. Now, and I tell them like this: look, if you do it, hey man, you're gonna reap it. So you may reap the fact that, your girl's going to be all, could be asking for things that you're not ready for. Yeah, you're going to reap it. Or God forbid you actually get her pregnant. Then you got to step up. So just have fun learning about people. So that was my rant. Don't worry about it. So here it is. I'm in business, and I didn't know how much integrity and ethics came into being in business, even though I was a Christian. Like, I was a Christian in business, but yet I did not show up that way in the marketplace. I showed up. Oh, I go to church every weekend. Oh, don't call me on this day because I'm at church and that's my day of rest. When I was an idiot, total idiot. When people come to me and they just say, hey man, let's just kind of like say it was like this. That's called the little white lie. And then it gets to the point where, why don't we just cover it up altogether? Why don't we, instead of covering up, why don't we make it like it never happened? Why don't we make it like it was something that wasn't? This is how it was tested in the mortgage and real estate business. And it was like, we can do that. Well, as long as it looks right, it'll be right. Wow. Everybody was doing it. And I remember there was a time when, I did some stuff. I'm not going to get all the details, but I did some stuff and I was just like, man, like, this is weird. And then I had a scare. And that's when I realized, I said, what in the world am I doing? I had to walk away from that business. And a good friend of mine who does really well in that business, I had to walk away because I just was like, it compromised me. Now, could I go back into the business today? Absolutely. But I had to go away because I was just like, I don't want to be tempted, right? I don't want to lose my integrity just for the sake of building a business. But really, when we're talking about building a business, we need the right blueprint. We need God's blueprint. And what is God's blueprint? We're just going to go over 7 things that God hates. And all these things can be found in a business that doesn't use integrity. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16. I'll pull it up so we can look at it and see it together and then discuss it. Wow. These are all things that I had to deal with. These 6 things, pretty much 7 things that the Lord hates. He says they are an abomination to him. A proud look. Something like a proud look is an abomination. The Lord hates that. A lying tongue. Dang. Yeah, I was doing all that. And then never did this one, but hands that shed innocent blood. Now there's people that do this for the sake of business. A heart that deviseth wicked imaginations. What does that mean? Basically, you're just thinking up ways that can deceive, that can hurt, that could just really just like promote something that may not be ethical or moral. There are people that's doing this right now. Feet that are swift in running to mischief. What does that mean? It means that, hey man, it's kind of like, hey, I just want to, I just want to get into the stuff, man. I want to get out there and I don't care what I'm doing. I just want to have a good old time, and I don't care how it ends. Like, I don't like whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas is some of the stuff they used to hear. That's dummy. Like running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies. Man, have you ever seen where someone would actually bring a false witness against somebody? Like, this happens all the time. This happens, especially in politics. I'm not going to go on a rant on that one, but especially in politics, There are people that speak lies about people. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if you knew this, but in politics, it's okay to lie. I bet you didn't know that. I bet you didn't know that. It is okay. It is good. It is good politician like being a good politician to lie. It's like you can do anything to get into the office. So a false witness that speaketh lies. And he that soweth discord among his brother. What does that even mean? Basically, you want to sow wedges between people. Like you want to say something to hey man, this person been talking about you. Hey man, this, and go to this one. Hey man, this person been talking about you. But there's like putting problems in between people so that they can't solve them. Like sowing discord. So here's the thing. All of these things can be found in business. Every last one of the things that we just read in Proverbs chapter 6 can be found. Now, as we do know that who wrote Proverbs, and for some reason he's been labeled the wisest man who ever lived and will ever live. No one will have as much wisdom as Solomon. Now, here's what's interesting about that. Did God say that himself? It was in his dream. See, when you read Proverbs, I'm sorry, it's in 1 Kings chapter 3. When you read 1 Kings chapter 3 and you read how Solomon got his wisdom when he had a dream. So Solomon had a dream and a vision of what was going to happen for him, a conversation that he had with God, which is interesting. I find that interesting. So wasn't that God, just like Moses at the burning bush, the bush is talking to him, but I believe it was a vision. I believe it was a dream, right? Because that's how God talks to us. God talks to us in our dreams. God talks to us in our spirit. So God is not going to show up. Now, he did show up for Moses once. He did show up. And boy, oh boy, he said, Moses, you ain't going to be able to see you ain't going to be able to see me, bro, because if you see me, bro, you going down. You cannot handle the truth, because remember, he is the truth. So he said, you can't handle the truth, bro. So I don't even want you to see it, but I'm going to let you get a glimpse. I'm going to let you feel it. What is all this for? Look, God has a way of doing things. God has a way of doing things. God has ways to do some amazing things. See, in Genesis chapter 1, I love Genesis chapter 1, man, because that's where we can learn so much about ourselves. I came into the office like, and I'm recording videos, and I realized that I have a power for that. I have a power to take the information, the knowledge that I have, and I can bring it out. And I hope when you discover your superpower, that may not be my superpower. I just think that it's something that I know how to do now. It's an actual skill, because I didn't know how to do it. And one day I had to learn how to do it. It's kind of like basketball. I did not know how to shoot a layup. I did not know how to shoot a free throw. I did not know how to shoot a three-pointer until I shot it over and over and over. I remember a shot. I can still remember a shot that I made when I might have been in first grade, like from the top of the key on the basketball court, and I shot it off the glass. And it just felt like, man, I can keep, like, this is good. I can keep shooting this just like this, right up to that square, because that made it easier. Shooting, listen, that's a lost art, shooting off the glass. I remember a few years ago, I know I'm going down a rabbit hole, but I'm going to share this with you. A few years ago, I was preparing for a basketball tournament. I was going, it must have been like 2019. Yeah, it was 2019. No, yeah, it's 2019. Going down to Huntsville, friend of mine, we all, playing this league. And I'm going down. And just before I went, I practiced shooting off the glass. Like every day. And when I got down there, it was like, it was water. It was just like the glass was my friend, because I just practiced shooting off the glass. See, every skill that God gives us has to be developed. I'm going to say it again. Every skill God gives us has to be developed. See, God gives us a plethora. God gives us when we like you are prepackaged for greatness. And if we use God's blueprints, especially in business, then that greatness is going to come out. So how do we actually do it? It's called building skills. It's building skills and knowing what skills not to have. God hates a proud person. Don't be proud. Be humble. God hates a person who lies. God hates a person who sheds innocent blood. Now, there's a lot of that happening. So some people are going to pay the price. God hates people who devise wicked imaginations, constantly thinking of things that's just going to hurt people. God hates people always running into mischief, always running into situations that they have no business in. God don't want you in that stuff. God hates people who speak or who make false claims against people. It's crazy. It's crazy because recently I took some clothes to the dry cleaner, and I have like I used to be a collector of like just college shirts that I would wear, to church and stuff like that. I had a lot of them. And I've been kind of like methodically kind of getting rid of some and getting rid of some. And so I said, all right, you know what? I got rid of some. Let me go ahead and take these. I want these to get crisp. I want them in my closet nice and crisp. So when I wear them, they're good. Take them in. I leave like 13. I left 13 shirts. Counted them. We counted the shirts multiple times. 13 shirts. Come to pick it up. And I'm looking at my stuff. I'm just like, wait, something don't look right. So I'm like, this. I counted 5 shirts. I said, now the person that was there when I was there, he wasn't there, but his wife was there. I said, hey, these 5 aren't mine. She says, what do you mean they're not yours? These are not mine. I know what my clothes look like. And they were like, she was like, no way. She's like, no way, those are yours. No way. Asian people, no way. I'm telling you that for a reason. No way. She's like, no way, those are yours. I said, ma'am, come on now. You don't think I know what my clothes look like? These are not mine. And we going back and forth. I says, look, keep these shirts. I don't know where my shirts are, but I need to talk to my husband because her husband took the order. I need to talk to him. I said, all right. She took some pictures of the shirts. Da, 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 da. So I go back because I was dropping off some more shirts. I come back and to pick up my new shirts, and then he brings out these other 5 shirts that are not mine. I'm like, hey, I'm not sure if you talked to your wife, but these aren't mine. He said, no, these are yours. I said, they're not mine. Like, he says, no. We count the shirts. Those are your shirts. They are tagged. And anytime they are tagged a certain way, they're tagged with your number. Those are yours. I said, sir, I know what shirts look like. These are not mine. He's just like, we've never made a mistake like this. I said, well, today is the day. You made a mistake. It ain't my mistake. And he was just adamant that they didn't make a mistake. These are your shirts. I don't know what you're talking about. He telling me, the customer, that I'm wrong, that these are my shirts and they're not mine. Oh man, I was about to get upset. Then I had to stop. I said, check me out. Pay for my stuff. I left those shirts and I walked out. Why did I tell you that story? Because even though they didn't want to speak a lie, but they were speaking a false claim. They were making a false claim. And they made a false claim. And actually, he was being proud too. It says he was being proud that they never made a mistake like this. I said, sir, this is a mistake. And I just left because I says, wow, that is interesting. Like, I wanted, like, I was like getting hot. I'm thinking, oh, they're going to comp me. They're going to pay for my shirts. Nothing. They didn't want to do anything. I said, wow, they're not built on a kingdom foundation. They're not built on wisdom. What they're built on is capitalism and built on Now, there's nothing wrong with capitalism. I love it. It's just that when it's misused, like the best businesses, when there's a problem, they immediately address the problem and they fix it. That's why there's big businesses. But the problem for a small business is that they don't want to think like a big business. And that business didn't want to think from a perspective of, hey, we might have made a mistake. This customer is saying that this is not his. You know what? We're going to compensate you for that. You know what? We may not pay for the shirts, but we'll give you a certain amount of shirts for free that you can come in. Blah, blah, blah. Didn't do any of that. They're not using God's blueprint. He's being proud. He was being proud about what they did and how the fact that they've never made a mistake like this. But you know what? I walked out of there a little. I was a little off, and then I said, you know what? I told Jenny. I said, well, honey, I wanted to get rid of some shirts anyway. I said, so this is a way to get rid of some shirts. Somebody got some more shirts. I don't know what the situation is, but either way, somebody got some shirts that maybe they didn't want, or maybe they did want and they liked them. And so at the end of the day, I'm just thankful that I was able to get rid of some shirts, clear up some space for some new shirts. And I'm thankful that I'm able to see the light. And I wasn't going to go back to this place again, but you know what? It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, I don't hold any ill will against him. You know, we make mistakes, whether they accept it or not. I said to myself, you know what? At first I said I wasn't going to come back. I'm going back. Why? Because I'm going to show them that I'm the type of person that you can make a mistake. I can know it, and I can still do business with you. And even though I don't have to, I can still do it because I want them to know something else, that I have a value that's higher than the fact that someone made a mistake. So God has a blueprint for being in business, and it's definitely not being proud. It's definitely not lying. It's not about lying. It's not about wicked imaginations or running the mischief, speaking lies, or sowing discord or sowing problems in between people or friends. So let's use the opposite of those things so we can build our businesses in 2024, taking our not just our business to the next level, but we're walking in our callings and we're in our missions, because it's the mission over the money, because that's what's going to get us to that place. And that's something that I had to come to grips with. It's all about the mission. It's not just about the money. So I hope you guys got some value from this. If you did, definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let some people know about the Account for Life podcast and how we're out here every single day helping people to account for their life. God bless, and I will see you on the next episode. Peace.
Thanks for joining us, listening friends. We are so glad you invested this time with us. Always remember, you only have one life to live, so live it to the fullest. This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.